Okay, we're going to look at document A, and we're going to go with the C mean matter model, and we're going to go with the easiest part, and that is, what do you see? If you look at this document, it's titled Carbon Cycle, and you have CO2, which is carbon dioxide. Remember that 2 is dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide cycling through these trees. It's taken in through these trees, okay? And we see photosynthesis happening. We see organic carbon going from trees to animals. We see pictures of, we see animal respiration and plant respiration, as well as root respiration. We see auto and factory emissions in this diagram, and we also see fossil fuels as well as decaying organisms. Here it's showing an arrow of carbon dioxide going into the trees and then cycling into dead organisms and waste products, and then being released into the atmosphere again through emissions. We're going to go ahead and just write what we see. We see this, we see the carbon cycle. We see that photosynthesis is occurring. Photosynthesis occurring. We see that animal, plant, and we'll say root respiration is occurring. Okay. We'll see that fossils and fossil fuels are present. We see organic carbon is present. We see that auto and factory emissions are occurring. Factory emissions. We see there that there's the presence of decaying organisms. The presence of decaying organisms. We also see the presence of sunlight. Presence of sunlight, land, and water. And there's a body of water there. Okay. And we also have, so we have decaying organisms, dead organisms and waste products. Dead organisms and waste products are present. So I guess that's the presence of decaying organisms, dead organisms, waste products are present. I guess that's pretty similar, but that is what you can see plainly. You can look at this picture and pull out all of these characteristics. The next easiest thing to do would be to pick out the science terms that relate, the science vocabulary that relates to the document. So we have carbon dioxide, of course. It's present there in its chemical form, carbon dioxide. We have organic carbon. We have respiration, which is important. We have photosynthesis. And if we think about respiration and photosynthesis, we know that respiration produces glucose and oxygen. And we know that photosynthesis, it uses glucose and oxygen. Okay, photosynthesis uses water and carbon dioxide. Okay, Respiration produces ATP, carbon dioxide, and water. And photosynthesis uses water and carbon dioxide to produce glucose and oxygen. Very essential. We also have fossil fuels. That is a science vocabulary related term. And we have factory emissions, or we can just say emissions. Those are some science terms. So what does it mean and why does it matter? Well, if we look at the diagram here, the document, we can see that this is an arrow. Carbon dioxide is clearly cycling through the trees. It's going into the trees. It's being used up. Carbon dioxide is being used up to produce glucose. Okay, and glucose has that organic carbon that your animal is going to take in to carry out respiration. Okay, or it's going to decay and reintroduce the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere when it is burned or when combustion happens. Okay, the same is going to happen during respiration here. The plant is going to still taking in that carbon dioxide, and the plant is carrying out respiration as well. So it's going to use that glucose that's produced from the carbon dioxide, because glucose is going to have carbon in it, and it is going to carry out respiration to produce ATP. So how do we write that? We can see that carbon dioxide is taken in during the process of photosynthesis to produce another carbon compound. And that carbon compound is glucose. C6H12O6. Okay, and these are subscripts right here. Okay, so glucose is a carbon compound. Carbon dioxide is taken in during the process of photosynthesis to produce another carbon compound, glucose. Okay, so glucose is taken in during animal, plant, and root respiration. To produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And that's something you could also write over here. ATP, we remember from our unit, is adenosine triphosphate. Okay, and ATP is energy. Okay, so glucose is taken in during animal, plant, and root respiration to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is energy, and as well as carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so it cycles that carbon, the carbon in glucose, and it is going to convert it to another carbon another carbon compound, carbon dioxide. So that is what it means. Why does it matter? Okay, this is essentially how it relates to the writing prompt. So why does it matter? This demonstrates relationships, a relationship between carbon dioxide, photosynthesis, we'll say carbon dioxide and glucose. It depicts photosynthesis, which depends on respiration. It shows how carbon dioxide is used to produce glucose, and then in turn the glucose is used to produce ATP, water, and carbon dioxide. So as a review, the first thing you want to do is, what do you see? That is the most obvious. It's simply taking out facts from the diagram, looking at what's going on in the picture, and just writing it. And from there, you can draw your science vocabulary terms. Here they are in the picture. And as you write some of these, it helps to see them on paper so that you can also reflect and pull out some more science terms that are relevant to your topic. And then going to what it means. What does it mean? Okay. What is the picture showing us? You know, we have those two sets of arrows, and you're interpreting the document. Once you have written down what you see and you've got some vocabulary behind you, what does it mean? What's going on in the picture? And the simplest thing here to look at would be those arrows, that cycling of carbon dioxide and carbon, and getting to the root of the matter. What is it? Why does it matter? Relating it back to the actual written prompt.